This is my review of My Hero Academia, Chapter 223, Cockroaches. Quick apology for missing out on last week's chapter. I did read it, but I was just out of town, didn't have my recording equipment with me, so I just didn't have a chance to actually make the video. But I'm back now, and I promise to take as few breaks as possible. Anyway, so this chapter was a little interesting to me in the beginning. I figured, this whole flashback about the League of Villains, it'd be this big thing where we'd learn all about what they were doing, all the things they've been planning. But no, it's been literally a month and a half of Shigaraki just trying to fight Gigantomachia. I'm just gonna call him the Giant. That sounds easier right now. Anyway, and so he's just been fighting literally nonstop for a month and a half against this monster who can literally stay awake for 48 hours and 44 minutes straight before falling asleep for about 3 hours and then attacking again. Good freaking Christ, the thing is literally a monster. And that doesn't even help them at all, because even if they attack him while he's asleep, he just wakes up and starts fighting them again. But even with all that, Shigaraki's just literally been almost matching him fight for fight, punch for punch, just going at him the whole time. I mean, he says that the Giant's gotten slower, but I think it's the other way around. I think he's gotten faster. I mean, him and the other League of Villainers, who have been fighting constantly, but still a little bit, have just leveled up over and over again, fighting this, grinding against this super boss. And now when they have to go fight Deku or whoever comes up next, they'll realize, oh, I've gotten stronger. And that's going to be very interesting for them. I know they're villains and we shouldn't be cheering on them getting stronger, but it's still written like a normal character power-up, training against some big, strong master to make yourself more powerful over time. I mean, Shigaraki constantly refers to this as video games, and this is basically Video Games 101, training against someone stronger than you to learn new skills and boost up your level. Or it's just basically grinding, spending hours and hours on a boss that can't beat you and you can't beat, just to start boosting up your level. Anyway, then they get a call from Giran, or more accurately, the Cult of Destro, who've kidnapped and cut off most of Giran's fingers. I didn't actually catch that last chapter. I'm like, what is that there? What is that supposed to be? So I'm kind of glad I didn't do a review on that, just speculating what it was supposed to be, because it was apparently his finger. And not the only finger he's missing. Apparently they cut off 5 of his fingers and placed them at points where the League of Villains was active, where they did their dirty deeds, apparently. In a sense, he's been calling out the League of Villains, trying to get their attention. Because Jiren himself has been pretty adamant about not giving up any information. I mean, he's been tortured, he's had his fingers cut off, and he's still not talking. They did manage to get his client list by using professional hackers, but still, this man is strong and determined, and I really do hope they save him. I get it. Again, he's a villain, I realize that, but he seems like an honorable man, and I really hope he doesn't die for it. Twice even says he's a wonderful man, and he hopes that not a hair on his head has been hurt. But then we actually learn a little bit more about the Cult of Destro. They are way more terrifying than I realized. They literally control the world at this point. I mean, their members control the Heart and Mind Party, I'm assuming that's a big political party in Japan, publishing companies, IT companies, support companies, everything. All of this, so they could get control and bring about a new society where everyone's free to use their quirks. They have, according to them at least, 116,516 members in their cult. That's a lot of fucking members. It's entirely possible they were lying. That number seems oddly specific for a lie, though, but really? Again, just because they're members of the cult doesn't mean they're necessarily willing to fight for the cult. If they came out tomorrow and announced they were taking over the world, I can't imagine all 116,000 of those guys would pick up arms and go help them. Really, those fingers, that was dark. Because the way the things were posed was in the symbol of Destro, the symbol of liberation, which I don't think anyone even on the news or any of the heroes investigating would have realized that right away. In fact, I didn't even notice it the first time I read this chapter, but it is still just very dark and disturbing. Anyway, so then Destro basically gives his demands. He knows their exact location, managed to track them down because they answered the phone. So he'll either send all of the heroes in the world to go obliterate them right now, or they can come to him and have a big fight out. And like I said, I didn't really see any issues with these two working together. I mean, the one guy even says, I don't see any reason why we should oppose that. That seems like a perfectly reasonable thing to ask, so let them do their stuff. But no, they're just doing this because they want to make a name for themselves. They want to destroy League of Villains just so they can go out and say, look at us, the Cult of Destro! We have slain the League of Villains, and now we shall take over the world! I mean, really, that's... okay? I mean, it'll get them attention for sure, but that seems like a really stupid plan to me. And honestly, it's a plan I do not think is going to end well for them. I mean, I originally thought, this Cult of Destro would be this big, huge boss that would be the whole point of the next arc. Everything Deku would have to fight against in order to take them out. I don't think that anymore. I honestly think the League of Villains is just going to go in and wipe them out very easily. Especially if they get the Giants to come along, and I think they could, Shigaraki says, one of my allies, one of my soldiers, one of the people I've sworn to protect is in danger, and I must go save him like the king I am. I think the Giant would respect that to a certain degree. I can't imagine All For One's strength is the only reason he followed him. I'm sure there were other reasons, other things about his personality. Maybe he believed that he was loyal, that he would protect the people beneath him. Something. That could be a trait that the Giant likes, and he'll be like, alright, I'm going to come help you. Or maybe the Giant will say, okay, if you manage to defeat this whole army, then you'll earn my respect, or something. Like I said, I think they've gotten a big power-up just from fighting for a straight month and a half, and they'll have no problem taking out this group. I mean, I can certainly see being like 5-10 chapters of them just going in, fighting all the individual members. I mean, that'd definitely be different. Entire arc where the main characters aren't even fighting, it's the villains who are all fighting other villains. It could definitely pave the way for the fights that are to come against when the villains and the heroes fight each other. I mean, Shigaraki said in the last chapter that he wanted to destroy the entire world except for the things that his allies loved. Which tells me that he is at least somewhat loyal to people who have sworn themselves to him, and while Giran might not be a member of the League of Villains, he's helped them out considerably, he's been good to them, and he's never betrayed them, even after all this torture. So those are my thoughts on the chapter of My Hero Academia. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Like and subscribe. Until next week.
Peace.